Right, guys, let's jump into it. Yo, welcome to this live stream. And we're just getting set up over here. You guys got to remember it's a one-man show, so I'm doing it all right behind my computer screen here, making sure I'm delivering you guys the best show that I can do live. And go and jump right into it here in just a second here. I'm just setting some stuff up. Making sure this music's not too loud. Had some complaints about that, so I don't want it to be me talking over the music, but my goal is to bring you the best show I can, so that's what we're gonna do right now. Let's jump into it. Let's get going here. Welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to crypto. Welcome to this live stream. We're gonna be talking about the biggest thing going on in crypto. And ironically, it's the biggest thing nobody's talking about. You know, people are too busy talking about coins with dogs on them. NFTs with gorillas on them, Lambos, and none of the stuff that really makes crypto great. So today I'm going to be talking about mt.gox. I'm going to give you a brief history of mt.gox. If you don't know what it is, if you're new to crypto, I'm going to give you the importance of it. And I'm also going to try to paint you a picture between mt.gox in 2014. I mean, hell, it's been almost 10 years, guys. And FTX in the present. And try to compare the two so you can kind of see where I'm taking this entire show. But I want you to really focus on the end here because FTX has just happened, and FTX Japan customers are actually already able to recoup lost funds. They speeded along in the courts, but FTX, or now mt.gox, however, has been almost a 9-year court battle. And I know it was different circumstances, but try to tie that into your mind together at the end. Let me know what you think. Drop it in the comment section. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're taking time out of your day or night to tune into this live stream. And thank you. So guys, my name's Chadwick. I'm doing a live stream today. I try to cover what I think is relevant to what you need to know in crypto. I don't want to sit here with a graph. I don't want to sit here and read you the news, but I do pull from various news sites to deliver you a good episode, and that's what we're about to do. So let's jump into it, guys. Bitcoin repayments for mt.gox begin. Will this affect BTC core price? I don't think it will at all. I don't care how important you think mt.gox is. The exchange has got Bitcoin and every other cryptocurrency on lock right now, and the only way that we're gonna take that power away from them is take our coins and put them in a non-custodial wallet. I'll do a video on that here. I had somebody reach out to me and ask me, how do you transfer funds from an exchange to a wallet? And it's a valid question. It's a good question. So I'll make a video on that because it's really important, and people don't need to go start doing it the wrong way because they'll lose all their money and they won't be able to protect their money and that kind of thing. So I'll be making a video in the coming days when I get the time to figure out the best way to present that video to you. But let's jump into it, guys. This thing's been going on in the Japanese court system. This mt.gox collapse. Now, I'll give you a history of mt.gox. mt.gox was the biggest crypto exchange known to man back in 2013, 14, before it collapsed. Now, ironically, Bitstamp suffered a big hack. That was another exchange. Bitstamp suffered a big hack in 2014, and actually, Bitstamp is actually the one handling these recouped crypto funds that were recovered from the mt.gox hack, which I think is just very ironic that Bitstamp experienced a hack as well as mt.gox, and now Bitstamp is the one that is going to be facilitating the returns to customers that were in this hack almost 10 years ago. So a lot of stuff happened back in Bitcoin. The price went from under $10 in 2012 all the way up to over $1,000 before mt.gox basically collapsed and filed bankruptcy. So I'm going to kind of give you the timeline here. This is January 2013, and I'm looking at 99bitcoins.com, guys. It's a great place to learn about crypto, to see where cryptos came, where it's going, that kind of thing. So if we go back and we look at we look at March or April, 10 years ago today. Basically to the day, it'll be Sunday or Monday to the day this year will be when increased volume breaks on mt.gox. So this is huge. I'm going to read you some of these little excerpts from this website, and these timelines are very accurate and they're very informative to where crypto is going, price, kind of explaining the price jumps, that kind of thing. So also just a little reminder, Dread Pirates Roberts, the Silk Road creator, was arrested on 10/1/2013. Russ Ulbricht was arrested. So there's great documentaries on this guy. He's doing life in prison, guys, for creating the Silk Road, which was the biggest online marketplace where they used Bitcoin to facilitate the transactions. It wasn't a good website, according to governments and FBI. I'm one of those people that thinks if people want to buy drugs, let them buy drugs. You know, they've done this kind of decriminalization in the Netherlands, and the drug rates have fallen. So let people do what they're going to do already, and it will work itself out over time. But this guy, the FBI, the governments didn't think that this was a good idea. They shut down the Silk Road, the biggest dark web online marketplace. Like I said, Bitcoin, BTC Core was the cryptocurrency trading here. And Mr. Ulbricht, there's tons of documentaries where they swarmed him. I think it was in a coffee shop. Go back and watch it. There's American Greed, I think, does an episode. There's a few others that cover Ross Ulbricht. Go back and watch it. It's very interesting. But moving on to where we're at now, mt.gox hit an all-time high on mt.gox. Bitcoin hit an all-time high of $1,242 before it got hacked. The exchange got hacked and basically collapsed. It collapsed on 2/24/2014, so it's been over 9 years now. And then it's gone through this recoup bankruptcy. They filed bankruptcy shortly after. Chinese exchange, bank accounts closed. It's in that same year. I'm just giving you guys a little bit of a history of U.S. Marshals Service auctions, 29,000 Bitcoins. They auctioned off these Bitcoins from Silk Road. I think they held a lot of them. And what happened to those Bitcoins that they did hold? Bitcoin Cash, nobody knows. Whoever bought them, I guess. Dell accepts Bitcoin in that same year. Dell Computers accepts Bitcoin in that same year. So that's pretty huge as well. As well as PayPal subsidiary Braintree to accept Bitcoin. This is all in the same year that mt.gox collapsed. So I'm just giving you a timeline of what happened. Microsoft accepts Bitcoin in that same year, towards the end of the year as well. Almost, not even that long after mt.gox collapsed. Charlie Shrem sentenced to 2 years in prison. Bitstamp hacked that following year. And ironically, Bitstamp is handling the recoup funds of the lost transactions. So the halving day, I'm sorry, let me jump ahead a little bit. Cyprus bail-in a little bit before, about a year before the mt.gox collapse, increased trading volume. Originally thought, Odysseus, welcome to the chat. Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I love you watching the videos. Thanks for the compliment, man. I appreciate that. Thank you for reaching out and coming onto the chat. So originally thought it was to be distributed denial of a service, a DDoS attack on the largest Bitcoin exchange, mt.gox. A great influx of traders on the heels of Cyprus bailout. Go back and read about that. That's another huge story on crypto, and just a huge topic in finance in general. Announcement overwhelms mt.gox servers, causing trades to shutter and fail. Speculators' concerns about exchange hiccups feed the powerful panic sell that saturated the market and drives prices down to pre-rally levels before rising again a few days later. So absolutely insane. But what's really insane is the DHS seizure warrant against mt.gox. When mt.gox opened in the American bank account with Wells Fargo, President and CEO Mark Apellis answered no to the questions. Do you deal or exchange in currency for your customer? And does your business accept funds from customers to send funds based on customers' instructions, money transmitter? The U.S. government thinks otherwise. With the warrant signed, Homeland Security investigation seized $2,915,507 from the account owned by mt.gox subsidiary and was used to process payments to and from U.S. customers. And the future of Bitcoin legal status becomes ever more uncertain. Now, this was almost 10 years ago, and this story goes on. I don't really want to go into too much of the the fallout of Mt. Gox and just everybody basically losing their coin, losing their Bitcoin. Ross Ulbricht, and like I said, in that same year got arrested for the dark web marketplace. This is really huge. So I recommend you go learn about today if you got time. It's Saturday. Just learn about Dread Pirate Roberts, the dark web, Silk Road, and Ross Ulbricht, and how he's basically being serving life in prison for something that was really, not that bad if you look at other crimes that kind of go unpunished for lesser sentences. But also look at the Mt. Gox, kind of the fallout of Mt. Gox. There's tons of information on YouTube about it. But I want to kind of dive in more on the speculative nature on where Mt. Gox and how this Mt. Gox, and I don't know why, this isn't mainstream news around crypto. I mean, this to me is like, this is the elephant in the room type stuff. This is like, why isn't every YouTuber, why isn't every news outlet covering the most important thing about crypto? I'm not sure why, but you can catch it here. I'm trying to explain it to you the best I can. So drop your comments, anything in the chat you have questions about. I'll try to address them on the next live stream or this live stream. But after several years of delay of the windows, this was now, let me slow down a little bit. I'm getting a little excited here. Let's go back to March of last year, basically, July of last year, kind of when this Terra Luna thing was collapsing, when we saw Bitcoin SV rise against Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just FYI, on a side note, I'll drop a video about that today as well. Creditors could offload a total supply of nearly 142,000 Bitcoin already into a distressed market. Now, they were talking about this Mt. Gox dump back last year as Terra Luna was unraveling, all these, and then FTX came later. But victims of the implosion of Mt. Gox exchange are now able to opt between different ways of receiving their Bitcoin back. Bitcoin itself, fiat currency, which is cash, and or Bitcoin Cash. Now, immediately, what goes off in my head when I read this is, where in the fuck is the Bitcoin SV, and where in the fuck is the Bitcoin Gold, and where is the Bitcoin Diamond? I mean, seriously, is this not what people are concerned about? Is this a fraud on top of a fraud? Is this recouped treasury fund frauding people that have already been frauded in the first place? Even though the incidents caused a loss of over 700,000 Bitcoin in 2014, less than 150,000 coins have allegedly been recovered and will be made available by the trustees for users to cut back on some of their losses. So it's about 20%, guys, to give you an idea. That's about, a little less than 20%. But the thing is here to take away is there's still Bitcoin SV, there's still Bitcoin Gold, there's still Bitcoin Diamond that came out of this non-recouped 20% fund that they found, and nobody seems to even care to talk about it. And I don't see why people, heads aren't popping off over YouTube, sounding the alarms like, what's going on here? Now, drop it in the comments. Let me know if there was some kind of exchange between when they recoup these coins, but I'm assuming that the 9 years that this has been taking place, that these coins were actually recouped a long time ago, like pre-2000 Bitcoin Cash fork, obviously, because they have the Bitcoin Cash. So if they have the Bitcoin Cash, why don't they have the Bitcoin SV? Because that fork came almost a year later. So you see where I'm going here, guys? If people are credited on their wallet one-to-one equivalents at the Bitcoin Cash fork for Bitcoin SV, where the fuck are these forked coins? If they got the Bitcoin Cash, then why don't they have the Bitcoin Gold? Because that was another fork that took place around the exact same time as Bitcoin Cash. So where are these two coins? And we're talking about a lot. We're talking about 141,686 Bitcoin SV. We're talking about 141,686 Bitcoin Gold and equivalents in Bitcoin Diamond as well. So where is it? Does anybody know? Does anybody care to know? This seems to be like the most important thing that is not being talked about on crypto. So Mt. Gox creditors were sent a correspondence dated July 6th by attorney Nabuki Kabayashi. This is a Japanese attorney. This is going on in the Japanese courts from what I've read online. I mean, drop it in the chat if it's taking place in the United States or somewhere else, but this is what I'm going off of, is what I'm reading. Yeah, so the trustee is distributing this stuff, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I mean, it's a big red flag, guys, because everybody's worried about the BTC core price coming down. Like, is this the reason Bitcoin SV price has been dumping considerably since this same time lapse? Because if we look at Bitcoin SV against, and I'm gonna pull it up for you guys because I want you guys to see it with your own eyes. I don't want you to just think I'm taking crazy pills here, because this is happening. If we go back to July 6th, well, here we go. This is when Bitcoin SV rose against Bitcoin Core, and it almost doubled, just FYI, against Ethereum. So my question to you is, this coin dumped right when this coin rose right when they sent out the letter to the victims of the mt.gox to basically, you have to apply to get your 20, or basically your recoup coins that they have gotten back. But isn't that ironic, the time of this? Because Bitcoin SV rose just days later, almost double on Ethereum, and about roughly, not double, but a good considerable over 50% on Bitcoin Core. So it's a little more than ironic, guys. It's got me questioning a lot of stuff about just how this stuff trades and that kind of thing. So that article was written about a year ago, about 10 months ago. And now we're talking about Bitcoin repayments from mt.gox will actually begin. So I went off on a tangent a video or two back on a live stream where I kind of think that, like, there's something going on that we're not noticing. There's bigger things that how crypto or the exchanges manipulate this volume, and there's bigger things on how these prices rise against fiat currencies that are very, very conspiracy theory type thoughts coming out of my head. But at the same time, if you look at certain timelines on when these altcoins jumped against Bitcoin Core and Ethereum, because those are the two highest market cap coins, and fiat currencies, there seems to be kind of this parallel when people dump coins and the prices just shoot up. So I don't know if that's just exchanges obviously buying this, to keep the adding fuel to the fire, to keep that from being the case. But it seems to be kind of something worth maybe exploring more on this channel. It's more speculative things, but it does seem to be valid in merit. So I'm going to probably talk about that stuff, not in this episode, but ongoingly, because I'm becoming more and more conspiracy theory on these prices and how they move as time progresses throughout crypto. So back to mt.gox, will it affect Bitcoin price? According to this rehabilitation plan, the reimbursed total of 141,686 Bitcoin, around 143,000 Bitcoin cash, and 69 billion Japanese yen. However, the amount of refunds is still not clear. Creditors will be able to choose whether they receive their claim in cryptocurrencies, fiat, until the deadline. So there is a deadline. I think you already had to have the deadline in, I believe. If the claim is higher, the creditors will choose between crypto and cash, receiving 71% back in crypto and 29% in cash of the first payment. So we have to remember another huge thing is that the prices of crypto outsoar anything of the 20% recovery that this fund and these attorneys have gotten paid for handling this whole mt.gox collapse for this 9 years. I mean, Bitcoin was even at its peak on mt.gox under $1,300. So even, I don't know, where Bitcoin now? It's at least over 10x from there. It's at like what, 28,000 right now? And it went up to 67,000. I mean, do you see the price gap? So these people, yeah, they're receiving something back that's better than nothing, but it's nowhere near the amount of, an amount from the actual collapse. I mean, let's be real, guys. And nobody's even talking about this stuff. And I find it absurd that, YouTubers, the news isn't like super focused on this, because if they're focused on Bitcoin Core BTC price, then they should be very concerned about this 141,686 Bitcoins going back into circulation to the hands of people that could just turn around and dump it, as well as Bitcoin Cash, as well as Bitcoin SV, as well as Bitcoin Diamond. And just nobody seems to be talking about it, and much less cares about any of this stuff. I don't know. It seems a little bit fishy to me. It seems a little weird. So yeah, guys, Odysseus, I mean, you're the only one in the chat, me and you. So I'm gonna wrap this episode up, guys. I'll be dropping a few more videos today, kind of readdressing some of these concerns, specifically about Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin SV. I'm gonna skip over Bitcoin Gold because nobody really talks about Bitcoin Gold, and maybe that will be the one that changes the world. But for now, I'm gonna try to stay focused on what there are communities, interested in talking about. And until then, guys, I'll catch you in the next episode. Thanks for watching this live stream, and